So what are we doing today, Baz?
Today we're going to be making a luxury fish pie. So if you come over here to the hob, I've got a litre of Channel Islands Jersey full cream milk, and poaching in that we've got some haddock, some smoked haddock, and a little bit of wild salmon. We're just going to gently bring that to the boil and then turn it off. And then in here we've got some wild prawns, shell-on prawns.
They look beautiful.
So shell-on prawns, I shell the prawns and they go into a pan with this fish skin and bones, and a little bit of fresh fennel, and that will make a nice stock.
Are the black things their eyes?
Yes.
Wow, look at that.
You pull the head off, pull the tail off, go around the legs like that, then you're left with a lovely little prawn.
Oh.
So I'm just going to put some dry vermouth in with my fish heads, fish bones and fish skin. We've also got some fennel stalks and fronds in there as well. And I'm going to put a little anchovie in just to make it extra fishy.
I've always known an anchovie to be really, really nice, but I've never liked them. But I've never seen one. Oh wow.
There you go, a bit of anchovie in there. For umami flavour. Right, you can see now that my fish that's poaching here has just come up to a very gentle boil. I'm going to turn that off the heat now because that's done. We don't want to overcook our fish. That's literally took about 4 minutes. So I'm going to turn it off and cover it and set it aside. So as this is a luxury fish pie, we're going to put a little pinch of saffron into our stock here. And we give that a little stir around. And you see the milk stock turn golden yellow as it infuses. We'll come back to that in a minute. So we've got about 75 grams of butter that's melted in a large pan here. I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of plain flour to this, and that's going to make what we call a roux, which is going to be the base for our thick white sauce. So stir all that around, and let that cook out for a couple of minutes, and put a little bit more flour in.
May I give it a little mix?
Yeah.
Can you make sure not to show? Just show my hand. That's fun.
Okay, that's a gem.
Okay.
So that's the consistency you want your roux to be.
Yeah, it looks a bit like it looks a bit like ghee.
Yeah.
You can see the comparison.
So this is our stock of fish bones and prawn heads. So I've just strained all that out. I'm going to add that quickly to our roux. Stir it around.
May I?
No, I'll do this. It's quite hot. You see, it thickens up quite quickly.
Yeah,
You've got
it
to
comes up really fast. Now it just looks like ghee, but darker.
really beat this to prevent any lumps from forming. So we're going to have a look at what's happened to our saffron infused milk now.
If you go back to what it looked like before, you'll see a very big difference. Oh, wow. Yeah, it made a golden layer on top of it. And now that mixes in.
So our sauce is thickened, we've put some single cream in there, and it's really lovely. It looks like custard, but actually it's a savoury saffron cream and fish sauce.
Yeah.
I'm just going to let this cool down. I'm going to beat it off the heat a little bit, just so it cools, because we don't want the fish to cook any more than it already has done with the heat of that. So let that cool for a few minutes. I'm going to peel some potatoes, put them onto steam, and do a nice cheesy mash topping. We'll show you that. Here's our pie mixture. We're now going to pour the wonderful fish sauce over the top. Smother it all in that. Let that cool, and then we'll come back and we'll put our mash on top. So we've got our potatoes that have been boiled until they're nice and soft. So we've just drained them. I'm going to just let them sit and drain thoroughly for about a minute, and we'll add a big knob of butter. Add a couple of 100 grams of grated cheese, because we'll have a nice cheesy mash, and then we'll top our fish pie, sprinkle it with breadcrumbs, and bake it in the oven for about 25 to 30 minutes until it's golden brown, around about 170 degrees Celsius. So we're now applying our mash to our cooled fish pie mixture. We go from the edges first into the centre.
Looks quite satisfying.
It's very satisfying, this bit. So basically the mash has had a good old blob of butter in there, lots of extra mature cheddar cheese to give it a right nice tang, and we work from the edges like this,
smooth that looks,
into the centre with our spatula. Like so, and you can come back when I've finished if you want. So we just rough the top up like this so it gets nice crinkly, crozzly bits. Then I'm going to just get a few breadcrumbs. These are very fine breadcrumbs. Could you hear me in there? We give these like panko breadcrumbs. Good old sprinkling of these on the top to make it extra crunchy.
Luxury.
And that's our luxury fish pie.
Just have to bake it.
A tiny little bit of olive oil on the top. And that goes into the oven.
You call that a tiny bit?
That goes into the oven for 25 to 30 minutes until it's golden brown and bubbling, about 175 Celsius. So there's our fish pie. Some peas to go with it.
This is a smaller version because we made two, but this one was made the exact same way. Should look a bit bigger than this.
Okay, good.